Hello and welcome back to Cowboys Insiders and Cowboys Nation, and a huge welcome to every single one of you joining us today to Cowboys Insiders. No matter where you are watching from around the world, we truly appreciate you for being a part of the fastest growing Dallas Cowboy community on this platform. If you love a breaking Dallas Cowboy news, NFL rumors, a roster update and trade discussions, a free agencies move, NFL draft coverage, game analysis, and everything happening around American team, then you're absolutely on the right place here. The energy around the Dallas Cowboy line now is unbelievable, and today we have got some major updates to talk about involving the roster, off-season moves, coaching decisions, salary cap situation, rising star, veteran leaders, and what would be one of the most important seasons in recent Cowboy history. Expectations are sky high in the Dallas, and fans everywhere are waiting to see if this season can finally make a serious Super Bowl run. So before we jump into today a huge Dallas Cowboy news, make sure you hit that on subscribe button, and also make sure you turn on notifications and join the Cowboys Inside family so you never miss any breaking updates surrounding a Dak Prescott, a CeeDee Lamb, a Micah Parsons, a George Pickens, and the entire Cowboys organization. We post the latest Dallas Cowboy content every single day, and trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next to the Dallas Cowboy. The Dallas Cowboy are entering the 2026 NFL season with a massive expectation surrounding the franchise, and the organization is clearly showing the signs that it wants to make another serious Super Bowl run this year. After several seasons of falling short into playoff, owner of the Dallas Cowboys Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office have been extremely aggressive during the offseason, making a roster adjustment, restructuring a contract, and also improving a depth on both sides of the ball, and also trying to build championship caliber team that can compete with the best teams in the NFL. One of the biggest storylines around the Cowboys right now is a pressure surrounding a franchise quarterback, Dak Prescott. So the veteran quarterback remains the leader of the offense and one of the most important players in the entire organization. Dallas recently made financial moves involving a Prescott contract structure in order to create additional salary cap flexibility, allowing the front office to continue adding a talent around him. The Cowboys understand that the windows to compete for the championship with a Prescott under a center will not stay open forever, and the organization appears determined to maximize every opportunity during this current era. Dak Prescott is expected to lead an offense that could become one of the most explosive units in the NFL in this season of 2026. And the Dallas already possesses a elite offensive firepower, but the addition and development of a new offensive weapon has created even more excitement among the Cowboys. A wide receiver CeeDee Lamb remains the centerpiece of the passing attack and continues to establish himself as one of the top receivers in the football, which is NFL. His alert running ability, separation speed, yards after catch production, and the red zone efficiency make him one of the most dangerous offensive players in the NFL. And also another major talking point surrounding the Cowboys' offense is a wide receiver George Pickens. The talented receiver has generated enormous attention throughout off-season because of his big play ability and physical style of the play. Reports indicate that the Dallas views Pickens as the critical part of the offense moving forward, and many analysts believe he could become one of the Prescott favorite deep threat targets during upcoming season. So George Pickens brings explosiveness to a vertical passing game, and his ability to strengthen defenses could open up even more opportunities and length of the lamp. Tight ends and running back in the Cowboys' offensive system. NFL analysts are already discussing the possibilities that Dallas may have one of the strongest receiving corps in the football. If both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens perform at the highest level together, offensive coaches are reportedly focusing heavily on improving the team downfield passing attack, play action execution, and red zone scoring efficiency. The Cowboys want to become more unpredictable offensively and create mismatches against opposing secondaries every single week. The Cowboys coaching staff also appear committed to improving the running game, which has been inconsistent at the time over the last few seasons. The Dallas Cowboys understand that the balanced offensive scheme is essential for the playoff football and establishing a reliable ground attack that would reduce pressure on a Prescott while also controlling a tempo of a game. Coaches are emphasizing offensive line chemistry, run blocking, and situational football throughout off-season preparations and training activities. On the defensive side of the football, the Cowboys are going through what many insiders are calling defensive reset. So Dallas used the 2026 NFL Draft to strengthen a multiple defensive positions, especially in areas involving a pass rusher, a depth, a linebacker, and a speed and defensive versatility. And the organization believes that improving the front seven will help the team to compete against a elite offenses throughout the NFL. One player receiving a significant attention this offseason is a linebacker DeMarvion Overshown. Coaches and team executives have spoken positively about his development, athleticism, and leadership potential. Overshown has reportedly approached the offseason with a tremendous focus, especially knowing that this period could be extremely important for a long-term future with the franchise. Many Cowboys fans believe he could become one of the emotional leaders of the defense during 2026 season. And the Cowboys defense is still expected to rely heavily on speed, aggressive, and creating turnovers. Dallas wants to generate consistent pressure on opposing a quarterback while forcing mistakes throughout aggressive defensive play calling. Defensive coordinators are reportedly focusing on improving third down efficiency, tackling discipline, and red zone defense after some inconsistent performances in a key moments last season. Dallas has also continued adding a veteran depth throughout free agencies. One notable addition is the veteran wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who signed with the Cowboys to provide additional speed and experience to an offense. His presence creates more competition in training camp and gives the Cowboys another potential field-stretching option. The front office believes a veteran depth could become extremely important over the course of the long NFL season filled with injuries and roster adjustment. The Cowboys front office has also spent a considerable time managing the salary cap situation. Several contracts were restructured in order to create a financial flexibility for the future moves in the Dallas Cowboys. So the Dallas understand that the maintaining competitive roster in today's NFL require careful cap management, especially when a multiple star players are involved in signing of a new contract. So the organization appears willing to remain aggressive financially if it believes the current roster has legitimate championship potential. And another major area of focus for the Dallas Cowboys is a team culture and mental toughness. Coaches have repeatedly discussed the importance of accountability, discipline, leadership, and finishing games under the pressure. For years, critics have questioned whether the Dallas could handle the intensity of play football against a nearly opponent. As a result, much of the off-season messaging from inside of the organization has centered around improving execution in a critical moments and developing a stronger playoff mentality. Training camp expectations are already extremely high. Cowboys fans are eager to see how quickly the new offensive pieces develop chemistry and together, and whether the younger defensive players from the draft can contribute immediately. Internal competition at several roster spots is expected to be intense, which coaches believes will ultimately strengthen the entire team heading into a regular season. There is also growing excitement surrounding the Cowboys' schedule and the potential playoff positioning in the NFL, so the conference remains highly competitive with several powerhouse franchises expected to contend for a postseason success. However, the Dallas believes it has enough talent to compete with anybody if the roster stays healthy and performs consistently throughout the year. So many NFL analysts believe this season could define the future direction of the Cowboys franchise and a deep playoff run, which would strengthen a confidence in the current roster construction and coaching approach. And also, another disappointing postseason exit, however, could create enormous pressure throughout the organization and potentially lead to major changes in a future season. Despite the pressure, optimism remains extremely high around the Cowboys organization. The team possesses star power, offensive explosiveness, defensive speed, veteran leadership, and young talent capable of making an impact immediately in the NFL, especially in the Dallas Cowboys. The franchise clearly believes that the pieces are finally. His presence alone changes how opposing offenses prepare for the Cowboys. However, the team has recognized that relying too heavily on one player, no matter how talented, is not sustainable strategy. The draft therefore becomes an opportunity to build a defensive unit that complements a person's. One of the most pressing concerns for the Dallas heading into this draft is the offensive line. Once considered the gold standard of the NFL, The Cowboys' offensive line has experienced a gradual decline due to the injuries, aging players, and a lost turnover. Protecting Dak Prescott has become an absolute priority, not just to maintain offensive efficiency but to ensure the long-term health and effectiveness of the quarterback position. The front office is acutely aware that without the strong and reliable offensive line, even the most talented offense can struggle. As a result, the Cowboys are expected to invest heavily in a lineman who combine a physical strength, technical skills, and the mental awareness needed to adapt a speed of professional game. Beyond the trenches, the Cowboys are also focused on adding a depth and versatility to the defensive unity. The modern NFL demands defenses that can adapt to a wide range of offensive schemes, from a high-powered passing attacks to a balanced run-heavy system. So Dallas is targeting a player who brings a speed, flexibility, and intelligence to the field, defenders who can cover in multiple positions, react quickly to the changing situations, and contribute in various roles. This approach reflects a broader shift in the team philosophy, one that emphasizes adaptability and strategic depth over a rigid position load. Offensively, the need for additional weapons is another key focus. While CeeDee Lamb has established himself as a true member one receiver, the Cowboys understand that elite offenses require a multiple threat. Defenses have become increasingly sophisticated and relying on a single dominant receiver who can make an offense predictable. By adding another wide receiver with a speed, a tight end who can both block and crush the running back who excel in at passing game, Dallas can create a more dynamic and unpredictable attack. This not only helps Prescott but also forces opposing defenses to spread their attention, opening up opportunities across the field. And what makes this year's draft particularly interesting is the way of the Cowboys are blending traditional scouting with a modern analytics. The organization has embraced a data-driven decisions making, analyzing players' performance metrics, injury histories, and scheme fit in a greater detail than ever before. This evolution demonstrates willingness to adapt to the changing landscape of the National Football League, where a success often depends on finding the right balance between intuition and information. It is a sign that the Cowboys are not just relying on their legacy, but are actively working to stay ahead of the curve. The pressure surrounding the franchise cannot be ignored. The Cowboys are one of the most recognizable teams in a sport, and with that recognition comes constantly scrutiny. Every decision is analyzed, every game is dissected, and every failure is magnified. For Jerry Jones, the pursuit of another championship is deeply personal. For a Dak Prescott, and the stakes are equally highly, as his legacy as a quarterback will ultimately be defined by a postseason success. For the coaching staff, the expectations is simple but demanding. Deliver result in this context. the NFL draft became more than just a process of selecting a player. It became a defining moment, a chance to reshape the roster and address a critical weaknesses and build a team capable of competing at the highest level. The Cowboys are not looking for developmental prospects who may take years to reach their potential. They are just looking for players who can contribute immediately, who can handle the intensity of the NFL, and who can help the team win now. As the draft unfolds, each selection carries a significant weight. A successful pick can strengthen a key area of the roster, while missed opportunities can leave gaps that opponents will exploit. The margin for error is small, and the importance of each decision is magnified by the team's current position as contender. The Cowboys are close and closer enough to believe that the right addition could make all the difference. Ultimately, the story of the Dallas Cowboys at this moment is one of determination and transformation. They are a team with a proud history, talented roster, and clear objective. The challenge lies on turning a potential into performance, in translating a draft day decisions into on-the-field success, and in providing that they can rise above the expectations that have defined them for so long time. So if those NFL draft in the Dallas Cowboys succeed, this draft could be remembered as the moment when everything came together, the moment when the Cowboys finally bridged the gaps between promise and achievement. Missing any quarterback can set franchise back for years, while drafting the right can completely transform the future of organization. At the same time, defensive talent has become equally valuable. Pass rushers are now considered premium assets because of how explosive modern offenses have become. A team know that if they cannot pressure an elite quarterbacks, they simply cannot survive a deep into the playoff. An edge rushers with a speed, power, and athleticism are being viewed as franchise changing, a player capable of anchoring defenses for the next 10 years. Across the league, franchises are also prioritizing offensive line protection more than ever before. The physical demands of the NFL continue to increase, and protecting a young quarterback has become one of the highest priorities in the football. So the organizations are investing first round picks into offensive tacklers who can dominate a pass protection while also creating a lens in the learning of the game. Teams understand that championship are won in the trenches, and the draft is the best opportunity to strengthen those areas. Another major storyline is the rise of aggressive front offices willing to trade a massive draft capital in order to secure an elite talent. A franchise execution no longer wait patiently, hoping the preferred player falls to them. Instead, a team are moving up the board, sacrificing future picks and taking calculated risks to acquire a players they believe can become a superstar. This aggressive strategy has completely changed an atmosphere surrounding the draft night, turning into one of the most unpredictable events in the sport or in the National Football League. The importance of the player development has also become are critical for every franchise. Drafting a talent is is only part of the equation. Organization also must create a winning environment where a young player can grow into a star, and the coaching staff and offensive system also, the defensive schemes, the locker room culture, and the leadership all play massive roles in determining whether a prospect reaches his full potential. Some franchises consistently maximize a talent because of the strong development system, while others continue struggling despite draft highly talented players. One of the most fascinating aspects of today's NFL is how quickly a youngster are expected to produce. So the fans and analysts no longer give a rookie multiple years to adjust. First round picks are expected to contribute an immediate, especially a quarterbacks, a wide receiver and pass rusher. The pressure pressed on these young athletes is enormous, but the league's fast-paced environment demand instantly impact a franchise's investing millions of the dollar into young players, expect them to become foundational pieces right away. The draft has also become a deeply connected to franchise identity, so some teams prioritize physicality and defensive dominance, while others focus on speed, explosiveness, and offensive firepower. And every organization approaches a roster building differently, but the ultimate goal remains the same: constructing a, a championship caliber teams capable of competing for a Super Bowl. The fans across the NFL are already dreaming about what their franchise could become over the new few seasons. Hope is what makes the NFL draft so powerful, and every fan base believes the next superstar could already be on their roster. Every selection brings excitement, optimism, and renewed belief that a brighter future is coming. For rebuilding franchises, the draft represents a survival. For a playoff contender, it represents the final missing pieces needed to compete for a championships. For a struggling organization, it represents redemption and fresh beginning, and for a powerhouse teams already near the top of the league. So it represents an opportunity to stay dominant while the rest of the NFL tries to separate to catch up. The modern NFL is evolving faster than ever before. Offenses are becoming more explosive, defenses more versatile, and franchise more aggressive in pursuing a elite talent in the NFL. The draft sits at the center of all of it. It is where a future are created, career begin, and championship dreams are born. As the next NFL era begins to take a shape, franchise across the league know there it is no room for mistake anymore. But one elite draft class can change everything. So one superstar quarterback can revive an entire city. One defensive playmaker can redefine a championship defenses. The stakes have never been higher, and that is exactly why the NFL draft continues to captivate millions of the fans every single year. On the end, the franchise that scored better, develop talent smarter, and build a strong cultures is every year without seeing a deep playoff success. One of the biggest stories surrounding the Dallas lineup is the complete rebuild and transformation of the defense during the previous season. The Cowboys struggled badly at the times on defense, especially against the run and the late game situation where they failed to stop opposing offenses during a critical drives. Those defensive struggles become one of the most biggest reasons for the Cowboys' failure to compete consistently against a narrowed team. So because of those problems, the Dallas made a several major coaching adjustments and brought in new defensive minds to reshape the identity of the team. So the coaches inside the organization reportedly want the Cowboys defense to become a faster, more aggressive, and more physically and far more unpredictable. The franchise believes that if the defense improves significantly, the entire team can once again become a faster and more aggressive and more physical, softer and predictable. The center of that defensive rebuild continues to be Amika Person, who remains the emotional leader and superstar of the Cowboys defense. Parsons is still considered one of the most dangerous defensive players in the football because of his explosiveness, speed, versatility, and the ability to completely change the games within a few plays. There are ongoing discussions about a massive new contract extension that could make him one of the highest paid defensive players in the entire NFL history. Cowboys fans view a Parsons as the face of the franchise and believe the future of the defense will evolve around him for many years. So for another huge source of excitement for the Dallas fans, it comes during 2026 NFL Draft. Many analysts around the league praised the Cowboys for having one of the smartest and balanced drafts in the NFL, so their first major selection was a Caleb Down, a highly talented safety whom many experts believed was one of the best defensive players available in the entire of NFL draft this year of 2026 class. Downs has already impressed coaches with his football intelligence, athleticism, awareness, tackling ability, and leadership qualities despite being a rookie. Inside the organization led by the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, there is a growing belief that he could immediately become one of the most impactful young players on the defense. So the Cowboys also selected Malachi Lawrence, an explosive edge rusher with innate speed and pass rushing ability. The Dallas believes that Lawrence can become a major weapon alongside Amika Parsons, creating one of the fastest and most dangerous pass rushing combinations in the NFL. So the coaches are reportedly extremely excited about his athleticism and his potential to create a pressure against opposing quarterbacks. Another rookie generating attention is Devin Moore, a talented cornerback who brings a strong athletic ability and versatility to the secondary. The Dallas struggled with injuries and inconsistency in the defensive backfield over the last few seasons, so the organization hopes Amor can help to stabilize that area. Everton was also added to strengthen the defensive line and improve the Cowboys' physical presence in the trenches. On the offensive side of the ball, all eyes remain focused on Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott continues to be one of the most debated quarterbacks in the football, so some fans strongly believe he is capable of leading the Cowboys deep into the playoffs if he has the right support around him. While the others continue to question whether he can truly deliver in the biggest moment. Regardless of the criticism, the Cowboys organization still has confidence in the Dak Prescott and is working hard to surround him with a more offensive weapon than ever before. CeeDee Lamb remained the biggest star on offense and continued to establish himself as one of the top wide receiver in the entire of NFL team. And in the last season, CeeDee Lamb carried a huge portion of the offense and consistently made a game-changing plays. His chemistry with Dak Prescott continued to improve, and many analysts believe he could have another monster season in 2026. The Cowboys have also continued strengthening their receiving corps by adding more depth and versatility around Lamb. George Pickens is the one of the player creating a major excitement because of his incredible athletics, talent, and ability to make spectacular catches. Many people around the league believe Pickens could become one of the breakout stars of the upcoming season if he performs consistently in the Dallas Cowboys. The running game is another important focus on the Dallas Cowboys entering a new season. Dallas believes Javonte Williams can help to bring a physicality and a balance back to the offense. So our coaches reportedly want more balanced offensive system that does not force Dak Prescott to carry the entire offense alone every week. So Javonte Williams' ability to break tackles and gain 12 yards could become extremely important in critical situations. Another major priority this offseason has been rebuilding the offensive line. Historically, the Cowboys have been known for having some of the best offensive lines in the football, but injuries, aging players, and inconsistency weakened that unity over the last few years. The organization is now working aggressively to rebuild a strong offensive front capable of protecting Dak Prescott and improving the running game. Many insiders believe that if the offensive line performs well, the entire offense could become one of the most dangerous units in the NFL. So Dallas has also remained in active free agencies, continuing to explore veteran additions who could bring a leadership and experience into a locker room. Reports suggest the Cowboys are still monitoring several experienced players who may become available before the season begins. The organization appears determined to add a depth and veteran presence in a key position to strengthen the roster for a potential playoff run. A special team remains another area of the strength for the Cowboys, especially because of Brandon Aubrey, who has become one of the most reliable kickers in the NFL. So Brandon Aubrey played a huge role in several Cowboys victories last season. And thanks to his consistency and the long range accuracy, so many fans were extremely happy when the Dallas decided to secure his future with the franchise. And one of the most encouraging developments for the Dallas during off-season workout has been the early performance of the rookie class. A report from inside of the organization indicates